try this again. Having a little technical difficulties here. It's Pamela Ferguson with Naked News. This weekly series of Naked News. And it's not that kind of naked, people. Get your mind clear. It's about stripping away all that you know about skincare and just life in general. That's what Naked News is about. So, last week, we were outside and I had some patches that I had missed with sunscreen, and also my family did too. So we were dealing with sun issues. So I thought, oh, it would be nothing better than doing a Naked News on skincare during the summertime. Because skincare for the summer is not the same as what you do with skincare during the winter or even the fall and the spring. So I thought that it would be great to talk about just for summer. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you can comment in below, and I would love to answer them. So the first question I think is really important is, the first thing I want to talk about is SPF. People know what it is. They sort of know. They know, okay, well, there's 15, and there's 25, and there's 50, and 30, and all these numbers. But do you actually know what that means? What does SPF mean? What does that number mean? How do I know which one I need to buy? Okay, let's break it down like this. Let's say you have fairly sensitive skin and you can stay out in the sun for 10 minutes. 10 minutes before you start to see redness. Okay? Now, if you have a sunscreen with SPF of 15, that means to get the same level of redness as when you were out for 10 minutes, you can stay in the sun for 150 minutes or 2.5 hours. So we took the time that you can normally stay out before you start to feel or see redness, and then we multiplied it by the SPF number. So in this example, it was 10 minutes before you can see something on your skin, redness. And for people, it's different. So it's not always going to be the same. And then our example was a 15 SPF. So that the 10 minutes, 10 times the 15 is 150. So it's going to give you the 2.5 hours of time that you can stay out to get that same level of redness, I guess you should say. So that's kind of what that means, so we could start there. But I did want to definitely say the first thing you need to look for in your sunscreen is what they refer to as broad spectrum sunscreen. And what does that mean? It's way more important than the number. It's way more important than anything else you can look for in sunscreen. And that means it's going to cover both of your damaging UVA and UVB rays. So you really want to cover both. So that's the super important thing, and it should, hopefully your sunscreen should say it right on there. If it doesn't, don't buy it because you need one with broad spectrum coverage. A next thing is that, you know, when you're looking at those numbers, if you're getting 70 plus, I mean, I've seen them, but honestly, anything above 50, you don't really need. 50 is pretty good, and really anything beyond that isn't necessary. So you can just eliminate those right away. So if it's 70 plus, I've seen those, it's not going to be any better than the 50. Okay? And the key is you do have to reapply. So, you know, my example of 10 minutes in the sun before you can start to see redness, and the 15 gives you 2.5 hours. Now, again, do you want to see that redness? Hopefully you do not. You would want to avoid that altogether. So reapplying is super important, and especially if you are in the water or sweating. And if you're outside and it's hot and sunny, you probably are sweating, so make sure that you do that. The other thing you need to look for in a sunscreen is, depends on you. Do you have oily skin? Do you have dry skin? Do you have acne? Do you have, you know, sensitivity? All these things are concerns of what kinds of sunscreen, especially for your face. Because since the face is, you know, first of all, it's your first thing that you put out to the world, number one. But it seems to be more sensitive or have more issues than other parts of your body for some reason. I don't know why, but that seems to be the case. So let's say you have sensitive skin. You're prone to redness and itchiness and just overall sensitivity, maybe dry patches. All that kind of is the sensitivity. Think about getting a mineral sunscreen that's going to be good for your skin. Or if you have acne issues, if you're a teen or just hormonal, and you have acne issues, I would say look for like an oil control sunscreen. Because you might find out that you go to the beach and you put whatever random sunscreen on and you have a bunch of breakouts, or you have issues, or you have rashes. And those are the things that you want to avoid. So using the right sunscreen is going to help you do that. It's kind of like going equipped to I'm going to give a really bad example. I don't even know. Going equipped to a photography show and you're taking pictures with a fish. You're treating the wrong things. You think that you're protecting your skin, but you're actually harming your skin in the long run. And if your skin is really dry, make sure you look for a sunscreen, and there are those out there that are moisturizing, because the sun is just going to make it even drier. So make sure you have, like, somebody with dry skin is not going to look for an oil control. That's just not what you need. So if you have any questions, I always have tons of recommendations on these. And there are other ways besides sunscreen to protect your skin. And some of them we've heard and are pretty obvious, but there's the sense of covering them here as well. First of all, you need to stay out of the sun as much as possible during the peak times. Some areas of the country 10 to 2, 11 to 4. It varies by where you live, but I mean, where you live, you probably know your times, but those are really the prime sun times. So if you're going to plan to go out for an activity for the day, try to do it maybe earlier or later in the day. It's still warm, it's still sunny, but it's just not going to be, those rays are not going to be as harmful for your beautiful skin. So you want to try to avoid that. The other thing is your clothing. There's lots of clothing now, specific lines that have UV protection in them. And they're not hot and heavy, so you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to wear a long sleeve because it's like making me so hot. Actually, they're very good. They're light, and they also have the same coverage in addition to your sunscreen. It's just another level of protection for you. As always, especially if you are at the pool or at the beach or out, those really wide brimmed hats, it's going to help protect your face, the neck. The neck, we have lots of issues. Our neck, our ears, obviously our forehead, all that area. So that's going to be really important, that wide brimmed hat. And a super important one for everyone. Where is the first place that people start to see aging and wrinkles? Right here. It's very sensitive skin. So what you need to make sure you do not forget is your sunglasses. The bigger the better here. Like, go Hollywood all the way out. The bigger the better your sunglasses, they're going to help protect more around those eyes. On a separate note, not related to your skin, it's also when your eyes are protected, that's going to help with cataracts, issues like that, as long as you have the right UV blocking sunglasses and the ones that you have. And also melanoma. It's going to really help with the melanoma too. The skin cancer issues, and also with the hat, gosh, you've ever had a burn in your scalp? Oh, it's awful. And then it flakes and it seems like you have dandruff. A hat will help that, obviously. But a lot of people do get skin cancer on their scalp. So sometimes moms are good with kids and they spray sunscreen or put sunscreen on their head, but a hat is like a wonder to do that. So something else that we do is after you go swimming, that means if it's in a pool or the ocean or a lake, any natural body of water or in a pool, you need to take a shower after. And let's talk about a pool first. So most of you have swimming pools, so you are aware. Usually they're chlorine. Some of them now are converting and doing a little bit more salt water, which is good. Chlorine is so harsh on your skin. It's actually harsh on your hair and on your suit too. You notice how your suit fades? That is really a lot to do with the chlorine. So not only does it help your skin and your hair to take a shower after, it also helps your suit too. It gets that chlorine out of there and stops it like bleaching it. So that's one thing. And if you're talking about, well, I'm not in the chlorine, I'm going to go in a lake or I'm going to be in the ocean, which is fine. However, there is bacteria or other irritants that can remain on your skin and cause you issues, cause problems in the future. You may have a rash, who knows, it may be itching. The salt can dry out as well. So those are the things that you want to think about. And make sure that you remind yourself, yeah, I really should shower. I'm kind of lazy, I'm tired, I don't want to, but you really should shower. The other thing I want to talk about taking care of your skin over the summer is be dermatologist friendly. And what does that mean? It just means you should probably, no, you don't have to go to a dermatologist to do this, but once a year, you need to go either to a dermatologist or you can do it yourself and give your body a once over and check out any sort of freckles and damage or anything that has accumulated over the years, because as we age, we see more of those things, right? You see it on your neck, you see it on your chest, your arms, your hands, everywhere now. So there's a couple different ways. Dermatologist is fantastic. They can look you over and know immediately. If you're like, I'm not a dermatologist kind of person, okay, I'll cut you a little slack, but this is what I want you to do instead. I want you to take pictures of the areas every year and then compare. Are there any changes? Do you see, what is happening? And if you do find that there are issues, that's when you should definitely go to the dermatologist. I would recommend the dermatologist first because that is going to be your best bet. But at a minimum, take pictures, have your sibling, your spouse, your partner say, hey, can you compare from last year? Some of them might actually enjoy it because really you should do it all over your body. So I really want you to be dermatologist friendly and kind of be aware for skin cancer because May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month and it's super, super important with the melanoma and everything else that we have going on. So inevitably, you're out, you put on your sunscreen and you missed like one strip right by your neck here. Your bathing suit moved when you were going, and so you've got a really horrible burn in that area. What do you do once you've been burned? How do I treat my skin when that happens? First of all, your skin is screaming out for hydration and moisture. So you want to make sure that a good thing is when you're in the shower, I'm not talking about immediately after, but when you're in the shower in general, they have lotions that you're supposed to put on when wet. And if you look in the drugstore or if you know somebody who could recommend one, it will say right on there, apply wet. So not soaking wet, like when your skin is still moist, and that way it helps lock the moisture and the hydration into your skin. That's going to help. You also need to look at products, if it's really bad burns, if you need to look at products that have cortisone in them, that will help relieve the redness. And if you have any sort of puffiness or irritability like that, that will help with that. And orally, you can also take just from over-the-counter aspirin, and that will help a lot as well. Now, prior to being in the sun and after, but all the time in the summer and all the time, everybody knows this, but we're going to have to tell you anyway, is that what you're eating and putting inside your body is just as important as what you're putting on your body, on the outside. So your fruits and your veggies, like watermelon, celery, cucumbers, all sorts of things that have a lot of natural water in them, which is great. All your multicolored, all your berries in the summer that are around are fantastic. Let's see what else. Oh, your water, just drinking water. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated, and that means before you're in the sun, during when you're in the sun, and after too. You may find yourself very, very thirsty after you've spent a day in the sun, especially if you're eating chips out at the pool. It can make you even thirstier. Now, a lot of people think, well, if I have issues with the sun, do I still need to exfoliate? You do, absolutely. Exfoliation during the summer is just as important as every time of the year. However, if you are red and irritated and bothered by a sunburn, do not exfoliate that. That's just going to make it worse. So do not exfoliate that. However, when that goes, especially if you start to peel, you're going to have all this flaking skin. Our body is amazing. We have all these layers of our dermis that, comes to the surface, and we do need to get those top layers off, especially if they're damaged. And that's what happens when you're peeling. And actually that happens if you see your skin browning, it's attractive and everybody thinks it's great, but it just screams, I'm damaged. That's what it says. We kind of have to get that mentality out, like, ooh, being tan is sexy, or it makes me look thinner, and it's all these things. It's so great. Bottom line, it's sun damage. That's what it is. Your skin is telling you, hey, something's going on. I need to be, it's trying to protect itself, right? So what would I recommend instead? Obviously, people are going to be outside. It's summer. You should be. It's fun. I get it. Sunscreen. However, if you still want a nice glow, sunless tanners are amazing. There's great ones out there. I love the one that I use, and I think it's amazing. And it's very easy to put on, and you can protect your skin and still maintain a bronze look. You don't want to look like a leather bag, Sun damage is the most damaging thing that you can do for your skin that makes you look older. The number one thing. So let's try to avoid that. So when we talk about, is it too late? You know what? I tanned for 20 years. I was in the tanning booth. I was laying out with baby oil. What do I do now? My hands, I have all these, age spots in my hand. I'm seeing them on the corner of my eyes. I have them on my chest. What do I do? Is it just, there's nothing I can do? I just have to give up? Good news is no, you don't. There are definitely products for that exact thing, sun damage and sun issues. You definitely have to have an exfoliator, and you want to look for proven products to tackle sun damage, those sunspots. Hydroquinone is another one of the industry standards, and also a great combination of a vitamin A, vitamin C, go well together to help also lighten those areas. But you don't have to give up. You don't have to say, well, I guess I wish I would have known when I was younger. You don't have to say that. There actually is something that you can do for that. So it's not too late. And hopefully you got some tips today about what to do during the summer. Slightly different, a lot more hydration. Did you understand the SPF before? If you didn't, I hope you do now, because it's kind of confusing. So think about, okay, how long does it take me to get red in the sun? Multiply it by the number of SPF you are applying, and figure out how much time that you need to reapply, but actually do it before then, so we don't see the redness. You'll still get a little color, but your skin will be protected. I just want to say thanks for coming today. I'm glad that you came along and had fun. This morning, actually, I went to see the Avengers Infinity War, so I thought, oh my gosh, my eyes are going to be puffy because I'm going to be crying, because I knew, spoiler, not really a spoiler, I won't tell a spoiler, but there are important people that are no longer with us after this movie. So, oh my gosh. But anyway, thank you for coming. I'm glad you could hopefully learn something. And if you want to check out my website, it is realpamelaferguson.com. And you can see some products that I recommend, and just about me in general if you have any questions. But if you do have questions about summer care or something specific, like, hey, I have acne, what sunscreen should I use? Those kinds of things, please reach out to me or comment below, and definitely drop a heart. I love those. Or other little funny faces. I like them. But have a great day, and we'll see you next week. I think I'm trying to